EcoSense for living. Everyday ways to save the environment and save money at the same time. You might already know Clark Howard is a national consumer advocate and protector of your money, but we're here today to talk with Clark about his overall green philosophy. So is it possible to save money and the environment at the same time?
No question. My big thing is I want you to save green and be green at the same time, because you can do both. People look at it, if you're going to do something for the environment, you're really going to cost yourself money but feel good about it? If you do it right, you're going to save money and feel good about it.
So we're going to start in the kitchen. What are some of your big money and environment saving tips in here?
Well, a perfect example is right here. One of the ways that I like to save money is I use my appliances till they're ready to die. And once they croak, I replace them with the most energy efficient one I can buy. This is an example. When this dishwasher died, I replaced it with an Energy Star one, which meant that I was saving on both water and on energy. And everything I buy, I do the same thing. As an example, most people wouldn't think about this. This television is an Energy Star television because TVs are Draculas. Even while this TV is off, it's still using energy. So if you get an Energy Star unit, you're not paying to use it when it's not in use. And here's another example. I despise bottled water. Bottled water is the biggest waste of money, but did you know that bottled water is an environmental disaster? Because bottled water, you have enormous energy cost in bottling it, transporting it, delivering it, taking it home. So here's my solution, because I'd be happy drinking tap water. My wife, not so much. We compromised and got this filtration system. I take tap water, put it right in this baby, it filters it, and she has the equivalent of bottled water for a fraction of the cost and without harming the environment. Now, these windows, this house was built in the 80s, so these windows are extremely inefficient. They just bled energy in and out. When it was cold outside, you knew it in here. When it was hot outside, you knew it right here. So instead of replacing the windows, which is outrageously expensive, all we did simply was very inexpensive caulk around these windows, and it's made an enormous difference. I can stand right here on the coldest day and I don't feel the cold, or on the hottest day, I don't feel it unless there's solar heat gain. And speaking of ways to save money with something that you can't afford to replace, no way would I pay for new doors. But it was very easy to retrofit these doors. You see down here, what I did is I added a little piece of weather stripping. And these doors, you used to just feel the blast of cold air or heat, depending on the time of the year. And then for the top and all the way down here, I added this tack strip here that you put in the metal here, and then you feel this foam right here that seals all the air, and then you have a really, really tight seal.
And what would it cost you to do this?
This is something between $10 and $20 total. This is the third sealing you can do, which is almost like a foam rubber, that you add a foam strip up the door, and so it gives you a seal where the door closes. So all the way around, it's completely tight. You can buy this stuff at really any hardware store and like that, install it and make a big difference in your home for years.
So Clark, I hear your wife Lane is not a big advocate of fluorescent light bulbs. Can you guys talk to me about that?
No, she's not, but she's reforming. I am so into it because you save so much money. You know, with the money that people waste in their homes, light bulbs are one of the greatest ways to go because people are still using light bulbs that are 1880 inventions instead of the year 2000 plus inventions. And the compact fluorescents do everything right. The color's good now, they're cheap to buy, and they're incredibly cheap to run.
They are better. You know, we used to have the bulb wars, and we finally had a compromise where I would get all the lamps and he would get the overheads and he put the fluorescents up there. But I have to say that I think now the technology is much better, and these newer generation, it's a better color, it's warmer, and when I flip the switch, it doesn't take, 2 or 3 minutes to actually heat up and turn on and brighten up the kitchen. It was immediate, so I think I'm willing to...
What are you willing to do?
Okay, I'm willing to make, how about 3/4 of the light bulbs in the house fluorescent?
It's a pretty good
Are
compromise.
you really?
I'm ready to do it.
This is great stuff.
So Clark, tell me what this box is.
This is one of my favorite energy saving devices because I didn't have to pay for it. In fact, I got paid to put it in. This device seizes my air conditioner automatically on the hottest of the hot days in the peak demand times of those days when a power company might have to run its most inefficient plants and spend the most for energy. It seizes my air conditioners and shuts them down.
Have you noticed a change in your home when they use this?
You know what's so funny? I have never felt a difference that made any difference in my life. And the longest they seize my air conditioners for is 15 minutes, just to get past that time where they're really suffering to try to come up with enough energy.
So what kind of incentive is it? How much do you get paid?
Every power company program is different on incentives. In my case, the incentive was $25 to allow them to install this. They paid me to save me money, and then every time they seize it, I get $2. Plus, I'm not running the air conditioner at that time that it would cost me so much money to run it.
Okay, so there's a lot of insulation in here. Why is that?
Because I didn't have nearly enough. In fact, I'm embarrassed to tell you how little was up here. So I made sure I had adequate insulation blown in. Then I had this special stuff sprayed in because we had air leaks that were causing energy to be lost. And then my ductwork, oh, we had over 30% leakage from our ducts. That meant that every time the heat or air conditioning was running, for every dollar I was spending, I was only getting about 70 cents in value.
So if I want to start saving money in my house, where would I start?
In my book, what you do is you start with an evaluation. You have an outside firm come in and go through your house, see what actually is costing you the most money, and the first thing they'll probably find are the simplest things. Attic insulation, doors and windows, sealing those holes around them will bring you a quick payback.
So let's go see what a whole house evaluation looks like. Sydney Roberts of South Face Energy Institute conducts whole house evaluations to figure out exactly where your home is losing valuable energy. How do you do a whole house evaluation?
Well, it really starts with a customer interview. We like to find out how their bills are, if there are any problem areas in the house, and often one homeowner will have a different experience in the house from the other. And then we walk the house. We go into the attic, into the crawl space or the basement. We look at the insulation. We look for any moisture issues. We look at the age and the condition of the mechanical equipment. And then we do two very important diagnostic tests. They are the blower door and the duct blaster. And these are very critical to diagnosing any problems with the house.
We have a very old furnace, and it's approaching 20 years old. And the ductwork, I've been down there, and it is falling apart. And since Kitty doesn't see it, she thinks it's perfect, in perfect condition. She never goes down there. So she wants a new kitchen, I want a new furnace.
So the question is where to put your money first? Okay.
There's also another debate going on in the house, and typically I stay colder, he's warmer. There's a constant battle with where the thermostat should be set. And in my mind, setting the thermostat at 50 degrees when we're not in the home and then coming home and turning the thermostat up to 67, the furnace is going to work that much harder to get it back up to the 60s, when we get home. To me, that puts more drain on the system than just leaving the thermostat at like maybe 64, 65, and then jumping it up to 67.
Well, my reasoning for this is that we have an old furnace, we have a house that is drafty as can be. If we leave the heat on at 60 degrees and it's 58 degrees outside, it is going to just stay on all day long. And I'd rather not have the heater blowing and wasting that money all day long.
Well, it turns out the guy who got an A in physics is right about this one. Mark's right, that because the house will be losing heat all day long, in terms of energy, it makes a lot of sense in the winter to let it get cold in the house when you're not here. You might have other residual effects, especially if you're doing this in the summer. If you let the humidity rise a lot in the house, you might have moisture-related issues. But in the winter, it makes a lot of sense. So we've set up a blower door in your front door, and what we're going to do is measure whole house infiltration. The fan is going to depressurize the house and measure how much air is going out through the fan. And that amount of air is the same amount that's coming in through all the leaks that are all over the house. And the fun part is while the fan's blowing, we get to walk around the house and find where all those cracks are.
Let's fire it up.
We turn on the fan. The goal is to get a pressure difference between inside and outside of the house of 50 pascals. We can only get to 30. Wow. That means your envelope of your house is really very leaky. So there's a lot of opportunity for improvement.
Okay.
So let's go find where those leaks are. That's blowing because there's leakage in the duct.
Okay.
If the duct system were sealed completely,
There would be
there would be nowhere for air to get in. So there's a leakage somewhere in your duct system that's coming out there. Well, I can feel air. Do you want to stick your hand in?
Yeah, because I thought these were all plugged up.
Well,
There's some stuffing in there.
Yeah, it's coming out. Yeah, it's coming. Oh my gosh. We need more stuffing in this one.
it's just stuffed with fiberglass bats.
Yeah.
But fiberglass doesn't stop air. In fact, the filter in your furnace is probably made out of fiberglass. It just acts as an air filter, not an air stop.
Okay.
So the proper way to air seal this would be with something solid like foam board and caulk.
Okay. This whole thing is leaking. This door, I might as well let's just open the thing up. Let's just leave it open like this. This is good. And fertilize it that way.
Yeah, it's really
amazing.
It's a whirlwind.
Wow.
Yeah, there's stuff coming in here. Air coming in right here along the hinges. Just it's blowing hard through down all the way through here. And this whole thing's leaking. This whole thing needs to be redone. It's ridiculous.
So what you doing this weekend?
Caulking.
The spiders are actually helping us with our investigation. They like to build their nests where there are leaks because the bugs fly where the air is moving. So if we look up in the corners where the spider webs are, we see that there's air movement, and that shows us that that's a place we can make an improvement. Let's use the flame to look for leaks around these old windows.
Oh yeah, big one
there's
right there.
There's
Oh,
a
good
big
Lord.
one,
Look at
absolutely.
that. It's probably up in this. Yeah. Oh.
That even blew it out, my word. This is one of the most typical leakage points in almost every home, and it's a plumbing penetration. It's a hole in the wall, so it's connecting the bathroom to the wall of the entire house.
Oh, look at that. Yeah. There's the culprit.
And it's a simple fix with caulk or spray foam. There are a number of things to notice looking into the crawl space, so let's just start from the top and go down. First of all, somebody's made a pretty good effort to put insulation under the floor, and they used the fiberglass bat insulation. It was a good effort. The problem with doing that is you're fighting gravity. Eventually, it's going to fall out. So if you leave it how it is, just make sure to keep an eye on it. It needs to be always in contact with the subfloor. And you can use metal stays to keep it up or staple it. That's another option. Looking at the duct system itself, I see a lot of exposed insulation. When I see insulation, that means that if I'm an air particle, I can get to the duct. That means that the moisture can condense on that duct and eventually rust out your duct. So you don't ever want to be able to see the actual insulation that's on your ducts. Anytime you see dirty insulation, whether it's on the ductwork or in your attic, wherever, that means that air is moving through the insulation. And where air moves through the insulation doesn't work. So where you see dirty insulation, you need to do some air sealing or some duct sealing. So we're going to use the duct blaster to pressurize the duct system and see how much leakage there is. We really only care about how much leakage there is to outside the house. So we're going to use the blower door fan for this test as well. We're going to pressurize the house instead of depressurize it like we did last time.
Okay.
And then we're going to pressurize the duct system to the same pressure. And then we'll be able to tell how much is leaking basically down into the crawl space.
Gotcha.
Pretty
Are we good?
So what are you finding so far? I mean, are our ducts just totally split apart, leaking, or?
Well, I'll know when I run the numbers.
Okay.
But I think your ducts are leaky and it's very typical.
Okay.
Unfortunately, for metal ducts of this age.
Okay.
But it's also fixable,
Okay.
which is the good news.
So what's the bad news?
Well, the bad news is that your house is very leaky. I crunched the numbers, and in terms of the envelope leakage, you're at 0.65 air changes per hour. That means under normal operating conditions, every hour, over half the air in your house is leaving, which is a lot. That's losing a lot of air. So definitely improving the air tightness of the building envelope is going to make a big difference. In the duct system, we saw that it was pretty leaky too. For a job done really well, top-of-the-line duct sealing job, we'd expect the number to be about 5%.
Wow.
Yours is about 40%, which is a really, really big number. That means that on the supply side, you're dumping a lot of heated and cooled air into the crawl space. And on the return side, you're sucking in a lot of icky crawl space air into your house. So by fixing the duct system, you'll save a lot of money on utility bills. You'll also make the house more comfortable, and you'll improve the indoor air quality.
If you suspect that your hard-earned money is pouring out of your home, find out if your utility company offers free or discounted home energy audits. If they don't, you can hire a certified home energy professional for about $150 to $450, or you can do a visual audit yourself. To find out more, go to EnergyStar.gov and check out home energy audits. You know, paper or plastic isn't the only decision we make when we go shopping. We're here at an all-natural grocery store with Kim Tate, who's given a lot of thought to the whole package deal. Kim, where do we start?
Well, we can start by talking about what's local and what's organic. When you buy local, you're saving a lot more than just a few dollars. You're saving on fossil fuels that are used to transport the items, and it is a lot fresher when you get it from the field to the table. For organic items, they're grown without the use of artificial chemical pesticides, so you're getting a better benefit from how the item is grown and prepared.
Is it more expensive to buy organic?
Not always. In many cases, the organic items can be less expensive or the same price as what we call the conventional items, which are grown with pesticides. Organic items are a lot better for the environment than the conventional items. The limited use of pesticides and fertilizers means that when it rains, those items aren't being washed back into the ground, into the watershed, and then reconcentrating themselves in the water supply. When you're looking to save money, it's important to buy exactly what you need. We offer a number of items packaged for your convenience, and also you'll cut down on the waste. So if you're looking to make an old-fashioned pot roast, you have the exact amount of squash, potatoes, carrots, beans, and onions you need instead of buying items that you're going to have to cut down and throw away.
So tell me, are these items, are the packaging they're in, is it recyclable?
We try to use mostly recyclable packaging when we can. These particular packages are 100% recyclable, and that's the case in most all-natural grocery stores. We use products and packaging that are most friendly towards the environment.
We're seeing more bulk foods in grocery stores these days, but it's not really a new idea. It's a throwback to barrels of pickles, nuts, and apples in the old general store. Why is it better to buy in bulk?
Buying in bulk is a great way to be friendly to the environment. You can save on waste by buying as much or as little as you'd like, and you can also save on the packaging.
Are these plastic bags recyclable?
The plastic bags we provide in the store are 100% recyclable. They also contain less ink so that the environmental pollutants are reduced as well.
So we can just bring all of our bags back?
We can recycle all of the plastic bags that you bring back, or you can use them at home. An even better option would be to bring your own packaging in from home. Just stop by the customer service desk. We'll weigh it for you empty. You can fill it up, and we'll make sure to take that weight off once you check out. A lot of times manufacturers will package and double package things in order to get to a single serving. We find a great alternative would be to buy larger amounts or to buy in bulk and fill individual containers and send your kids off to school. Another great alternative would be, instead of buying individually wrapped juice boxes, buy a gallon or half gallon, fill your kids' cup every day and send them off to school.
Is it more expensive to buy pre-packaged products as opposed to buying in bulk?
It can be more expensive because oftentimes you are paying for the packaging. When buying in bulk, you're paying simply for the weight of the product. And again, you save money and save the environment by reducing the amount of waste.
So Kim, if you don't have a cow in your backyard, what's the best option at the grocery store? The plastic milk containers or the cardboard?
The best option would be the plastic containers. They're 100% recyclable and you can refill or reuse them at home. The cardboard, while it's a good option, is not easily recycled by the consumer because it is a waxed cardboard. There are programs that reuse waxed cardboards to make things like fire logs, but again, not a great option if you're at home.
So when it comes to eggs, what is the most environmentally friendly packaging?
We have this cardboard, which is biodegradable. It will break down, or you can compost it at home if you have the opportunity to. This plastic container is 100% recyclable. You'll notice that you don't see the traditional styrofoam containers, and you won't see those in most natural grocery stores because they are so unfriendly towards the environment.
Okay, Kim, the million-dollar question, paper or plastic bags, which is better?
I don't know that anyone is better than the other, but I do recommend plastic bags. When oil is refined to make gasoline, a chemical is produced that will burn off into the air. We can harness that chemical and produce plastic bags. So if nothing else, we're reducing the amount of pollutants going into the environment. A better alternative would be to bring in your own bags from home, and you can use any kind of bags you want. A tote bag or bags that you can purchase right here in the store and bring back.
What are some incentives for people that bring in their own bags?
In most natural food stores or other responsible groceries, any bag you bring in, whether it's one that you bring from home or one that you previously got here in the store, you can bring it back in for a rebate.
If you want to keep chemicals out of your home and your local waterways, you might want to try mixing a few of these eco-friendly products for cleaning your home. Cheryl Clayton's here to show us how.
One of the first cleaners you need to know about is baking soda. It's an awesome product. It cleans so well. It's non-abrasive and it costs pennies, and it doesn't affect the groundwater at all. It's just a great thing to know about. One of the ways that a physician that I know uses it, she's a pediatrician, she keeps a little right by the sink. She keeps it in a container with large holes. You can get them just as a Parmesan cheese sprinkler. Just shake it onto a pan. It's great for scrubbing. It's safe for stainless. And when it goes down, it rinses clean. And it's great for the drains. It makes them smell wonderful. Another product you might want to add to baking soda, salt. I like to call them the twin sisters. We've got salt and baking soda. And in my home, the reason I use the salt is I tend to cook with a lot of grease, and sometimes I burn things. So the salt is just an excellent way to absorb the grease when I'm cleaning up. Put a pan down in the sink, pour a little salt, it absorbs the grease, makes it easier to rinse. Or if I need a little scrubbing power, the salt's a little bit more abrasive than the baking soda.
Do any of these products kill germs?
Vinegar is definitely antibacterial. It's almost as strong as bleach. You're also going to want to use alcohol. It's also antibacterial. It kills 99.9% of bacteria as well. And what you want to do, one of the things that makes this so nice is that it biodegrades so much faster, so there's a lot less left in your home. So if your pets or your children happen to touch it before it totally biodegrades, it's not going to be as harmful. And also when it goes in the groundwater, not nearly so much problem.
What about cleaning windows?
Well, let me show you two alternatives. Spot cleaning, which sometimes happens if you have a dog and he puts his little nose up on the glass at the front. Children, the easiest thing to do is use a lemon. Now, I'm not too good about keeping these around the house. I let them mold. So what I do is I get a bottle of concentrate, keep it right in the fridge. But if you're just doing a little bit of spot cleaning, it's very acidic, it's very clear, it doesn't streak. You just put some on a cloth and wipe those little spots out. Now, if you've got a bigger job or you want to keep some mixed up, then there's another simple alternative. I usually take a spray bottle and just make some glass cleaner. When I'm mixing, I choose a bottle that has a good spray nozzle that you can adjust from a heavy stream to a light spray. I also like a bottle that has the measuring increments down the side, just makes it easier for me. And the recipe for the glass cleaner is simply 1 cup of water and then 1 cup of rubbing alcohol, okay? So all you have to do is pour that in.
So how much would it cost to have all the products that you need for your home?
Well, just the ones that we're talking about today, I've spent less than $3. You can buy this often generically, and it's just a great buy.
Okay, so now you have your alcohol.
That's right, and all I have left to do is put a tablespoon of vinegar. Put it back in the spray bottle.
That's your window cleaner.
That's your window cleaner. It's streak-free, you're gonna love it. You know, it's light, it's easy, great stuff.
And what if the children get a hold of this?
Well, you know, it's never good to have too much of anything, but if they had a little bit of it or drink a little water, it's, you know, it's like having a pickle. Okay, it's not a big deal.
That's good to know. Cleaners for a green and clean planet. Now that makes sense.